and we are going to make a cool fun fold card today with an Easter theme. We're going to play with the excellent eggs because what's coming up? Easter is coming up. We're going to start with the inside of the card. So this is a piece of paper from the Be Mine designer paper, and all of the measurements and the score lines will be on my blog tomorrow, so you don't have to worry about writing anything down. And so this is, I went for the yellow. We could go for bees. They're awfully cute, but that's not really what I'm going for today. Because you know, when we do Easter, we sort of want pastels, right? So this is actually Daffodil Delight, but to me, it almost looks like a little subdued version of Daffodil Delight. So we're going to score it here, inches apart. We're going to start at 3 and then go to 4. And you may have seen this card done before. And we're going to do 5. So these are all an inch apart. 6. Make sure I'm in the right spot. But I'm going to do it just a little bit differently than how you might have seen it. So it's a different way that you can do this card. 8 and then 9. So we actually have quite a few score lines on there. So we're going to fold back. So on the right hand side, we're going to fold back on that one. And then we're just going to do an accordion fold. And you want to make sure as much as possible that your lines, the top and the bottom of your card are lined up. So you're just going to fold, 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 fold. I'm just going to come down here in the back of it there. And one more. So let's give that guy nice crisp fold, and you can turn them over because we don't have anything that's going with a diagonal pattern. We can turn this any which way we want. Okay, so this is what we're left with. Okay, is that we have, I think I must have one more. I do. One more right there. Okay, so we have a piece that looks like that. Okay, so I've just taken a piece of our thick basic white, folded it in half on the long ways. Long ways? I guess I folded in half on the short ways. And we are just going to take these guys and we are going to glue them inside. Okay, so when somebody opens this card, they're going to have like a little concertina that pops out at them. Okay, so we are going to take glue. Now you want to be careful that you only put glue up to the very first score line on either side. But you also want to make sure you put glue all the way around. Okay, so all the way around. You don't have to have lots of glue. And what I found works for me is if I do one side and then the other. So this is going to go in here. You're going to try and give yourself the same amount of space on the top and on both sides. Now, before I do this, let me make sure that I've done it the right way. I think maybe I haven't. I got one too many. Let me just see. Hold on just a sec. Make sure I'm going the right way. One nice thing about when you score it is that you can then fold it both ways. There we go. Okay, I did have it going the wrong way. So what you have to have is you have to have the valley fold. So the valley fold, and valley means that when you have a score, this is the valley and this is the mountain. So the mountain goes over top, the valley's down below. So you need to have both of these ones at a valley fold. So now I'm going to take my glue and do the same thing on this side. So that's always a good thing too, to make sure that you test that before you glue down both sides. So that's one of the nice things about doing it this way. And then go again for the same amount of space, top and sides. Okay. And then you might have to help it the very first time because this is going to fold in like that. Okay. So it's going to fold in. It's a little bit fatter card by the time it's put together. So you might have to just, you might need a little bit of extra postage on here, or you can put it in a really tight envelope too, and that will work. So I've got a piece here and we are going to glue that onto the front. But first what I want to do is I'm going to cover it with a little bit of Highland Heather. And with the Highland Heather, I'll pull out my dies, I am going to cut out the largest of the Easter eggs. Okay, so I'm going to cut that out. And what I'm also going to do is I'm going to run the piece through my basics 3D embossing folder, which is dots. Okay, so I wanted something really quite fun, and I wanted the dots to match the inside of the paper as well. Okay, so we're going to glue that down on top of there. So the easiest way to glue this is going to be to glue it up top because it's a little bit smaller. And I'm going to go all the way around just with a little bit of glue and on the bottom. So you don't have to be too worried about getting it perfectly straight here. And we're going to lift that up and we're going to put it right over top. Okay, so I don't want any of my paper peeking through on the bottom or on the sides. And then I'm going to glue that down on top of my card. Okay, so we got lots of colors going on here for Easter. We're going to have yellow inside, pinks and purples on the outside. This is the hybrid embossing folder. So there's a couple different ways that you can use them. If you just put a piece of paper in and run it through without using the cutting, the die, this is what you're going to get. This is what it looks like when it's cut out. If you find with your own Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, or if you still have a Big Shot that's working wonderful for you, you might need to put a couple pieces of just bond paper in if you find you don't get a really nice deep impression like this. Everybody's embossing machine is a little bit different, so you might find you need to do that. So what we're going to do is we are going to use the brayer. And it works great for this particular technique. But this is how you can use it. So I'm going to use Balmy Blue. Here's what you want to do when, well, I guess I want to go this way. When you're inking up your brayer, you want to roll the brayer. Okay, you want it so that these little pins are facing you. And then you want to roll the brayer in the ink. Now, for some of you, this will be too much ink and could get messy. It can, but it's fun. Okay, so you want to roll, don't roll back and forth, because when you do that, you're only going to be inking up one spot. So you want to lift and roll, and get it everywhere. Okay, and then once you have it on there, you're going to run that right across the left side. So the side that's a little bit raised, and you're going to run that right across. Okay. Now, when you put this down, put it down so that these are facing down. I'm going to put that on this side, and then I'm going to take the dies with the cutting side up. So the cutting side up, and they will go right over top. And at first, you might not know where they go, but they will actually sort of snap into place here. It just snaps into place, and once it's in place, it won't move super easily anyway. Okay, so we are going to now close this up. Make sure that your paper doesn't move too much. Hold that with your hands and then pull in your Stampin' Cut. And for this one, because it is a 3D embossing folder, we only need to have plate number 1 and plate number 4. So I'm just going to put that in, put my plate number 4 over top, and we're going to run that through. Okay, so you've got all of those words done at one time. Now to clean this, I would just use my, put that over there, use my little chamois that came with my glass mat, or use your Simply chamois, or if you have a lint-free wet one, you can also use that. But clean it off before you put it away, and then also do the same thing with your brayer. Clean that off. You can roll it out onto some grid paper if you want, but this will get it a lot cleaner. And then just always store it so that it's got these little legs down. I want to create with some of the pieces of the Easter eggs. Okay, so I have cut out a Daffodil Delight Easter egg, and this is the second size here. Not that one there, which has stitching lines on it. And then I've also cut out some pieces that we are going to glue over top. So with these pieces right here, that's how you can decorate your Easter egg. So this one here, I cut out another pink Easter egg, and then I just cut off the bottom. So now we're going to just glue those apart, glue those together, not apart. I'm just going to glue this right onto the Easter egg. It will fit there perfectly because it's exactly the Easter egg. And then I think what we're going to do is we're going to do this guy down here. So this one you can make as wide or as narrow as you want. I went for a fairly narrow one. And I like that it's got a little bit of a curve to it. So let's put that down there. This is a piece of our shimmery paper, and it's got corrugated lines in it. And I just wanted to create the zigzag pattern there. And I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on this. And that's going to go across the top. Well, middle, top. So I'll just put that guy there for another little scallop kind of look. And I'm just going to dot this up a little bit because that will stick. Now you could always use, if you have some tweezers at home to pick these up, that'll work. Now if you were doing this and you didn't want to start with your Easter egg, you could decorate a piece of paper and then cut out the whole thing with your Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. That will work as well, rather than cutting out the egg first. Okay, so there's our Easter egg. So we are going to put this here. Okay, and I'm going to put that on just with glue. So we're going to glue down the whole thing. We're going to use large dimensionals. And we're also going to use small ones. So with the small ones, I like to take my little guy here. Okay, so You Make Me Happy is going to go across the middle right there. We're going to use this die right here. Okay, and this is what they end up looking like when you are done. So I cut it out of 4 different colors, and I'm going to show you how to glue them together. So what I did is I actually just put it onto a piece of white. Find a piece of white here. And I just glued it down. Now you could use your double-sided adhesive for this one. Okay, so a little bit of glue. And get that as close to the corners as you can of the white, because we're going to be cutting this out. And then all it is we are just going to put a little bit of glue right inside. So this makes it super easy. And then we're going to pick up our pieces with the putty side of your Take Your Pick tool. So we've got Bubble Bath there. We've got Highland Heather here, and it fits right in perfectly. And then we've got Daffodil Delight there. Okay, so we've just created another Easter egg. Let that set up for just a moment, and we'll put some of our pretty pink sequins on there. Go for some big ones here. I think maybe, I don't know, is that just too planned if I do that? Down there. I think we'll do a couple more. I've got lots of these sequins. Okay, and then what we're going to do with our Easter egg is we're just going to cut it out. So when you cut it out, we are going to trim right around. I found that if I trimmed and actually held my piece of paper sort of at an angle, I could get the bottom shank almost underneath the egg, and then I wouldn't have any of that white, because you don't want any of the white and you don't want to cut your blue. Okay, so now what we have to do is we're just going to decorate the inside of our card. So this is an over-the-top card, right? Just an over-the-top one. We are going to be putting our eggs on the inside. And we're going to go for 3, and I'm just going to, no particular order. Now you don't want to put glue everywhere. You could put glue right onto the fold if you wanted. I'm going to put it on the top of my Easter egg. Okay, so the first one I'm going to put here, and they're going to be going in sort of haphazard kind of direction. And then I think maybe I'm going to go for the, maybe I'll go for the yellow. Go for the yellow next. And you can see here I have a piece of white that is not even quite the size. So it's going to put that one there. And then I think we'll just put the blue guy that we just made here. And it's going to go, maybe we'll put that one there. Okay, so now we've got our eggs. That needs to just dry. And then the last thing I want to do is I want to just put in something so that I'm going to be able to write inside my card. So these dies, if you have some nested dies, these ones are out of the Thoughtful Expressions. I've used these a ton already, and fast becoming my favorites. We're just going to glue this down. So you can make these cards with all kinds of paper, all kinds of your designer paper. Now I'm not doing any dimensionals here because when you put dimensionals on the inside of the card, it always makes the card even fatter. So we already know that this one is a little bit fat. You could put another greeting up here if you wanted. So help that closed. Okay, so there's our card. So a few steps for sure, but this is an over-the-top kind of Easter card for someone special. And then when you open it up, you've got all your little Easter eggs there. Thanks very much for joining me. Please like the video and subscribe if you'd like to. Also join my email list where you can get exclusive ideas from me every week. Thanks very much. Have a great paper crafting day.